Spinner is the Wild Mouse's Skara Summerland. Mauer basically took their standard Wild Mouse layout and plopped spinning cars onto the track. But does that make it better? Find out in this review of Spinner. This coaster was originally built in 2000 and it began its life in the German fair circuit as Spinning Mouse. Then in 2001, the coaster found its way to Central Park in Germany. It operated there for a decade as Speedy. After the 2010 season, Central Park was sold to Merlin Entertainment and Speedy was dismantled. It was sold off to Skara Summerland. The coaster reopened in 2011 and has operated as Spinner ever since. This was Skara Summerland's third coaster, and it's still their newest coaster to this day. It received a new paint scheme when it was relocated, so it now features red track and blue supports, similar to what you'd see in a Superman coaster. As I noted earlier, this is a Mauer spinning coaster. This manufacturer is known for giving their spinners twisty layouts. But as I said earlier, their earliest spinners basically plopped spinning cars into their base Wild Mouse layout. You start with a series of hairpin turns before encountering some smaller dips in the second half. This ride was placed right across from Tranen. The cars seat just 4 riders each. Pairs of riders sit back to back, much like the other Mauer spinners. I prefer this seating orientation because you get better visuals facing outwards. Then you have the familiar T-bar restraints. I find the seats a tad awkward with how deep they are, but they are not uncomfortable. The ride has 6 cars, and half of them were on the course the day I visited, which seems to be fine for the crowds this park gets. This was the busiest ride on the amusement side for me, but the queue was still very manageable. It was no more than a 10-minute wait. If the park is packed, they do offer individual jet passes for this ride for 100 kroner or $9 US. This allows you to skip the wait and go right into the station. Once dispatched, you turn out of the station and ascend the 36-foot or 11-meter tall chain lift. Once at the top, you head into a series of hairpin turns. You get a bit of laterals on the first one, but after this, the spinning unlocks, but temper your expectations. This one does not spin very quickly. It felt more like a slow rotation, and my vehicle was relatively unbalanced too. Still, it was fun to take the elements in different directions. This top section is taken rather slowly. You then have a wide turn and a straightaway that leads into a mid-course brake run. This unfortunately slows you down considerably, which neuters the second half. You then round a corner and have the ride's largest drop. It's maybe 15 feet, but it is abrupt. You then jump upwards and hit another brake run that darn near brings the train to a full stop. You then have a slow turn around the station. This is followed by a small dip, a bunny hill, and a rise upwards, but you don't have enough speed to offer any real forces here. You then have one last turnaround with another brake on it. This leads into a little dip and a hop into the final brakes. These are pretty mild. And if you've been on any Mauer spinner, you know what happens next when you hit the brakes. A mechanism then spins your car so it's facing forwards, and that mechanism is pretty darn violent. If you come in sideways, be prepared to get slammed. It's not the most comfortable. Minus this, the coaster as a whole is smooth. You then return to the station, ending the 984-foot or 300-meter long coaster. So what would I rate Spinner? I would give this coaster a 3 out of 10. This is a subpar Spinning Mouse. While I do like the outward seating, the layout as a whole is quite mild. The lack of speed limited the forces. Then the spinning was quite slow as well, which is disappointing on a ride like this. Fortunately, Mauer has improved their spinning coaster designs mightily over the years, making the layouts more exciting and getting them to spin more, but the execution on their original layout is not anything to shout about. So those are my thoughts on Spinner at Skara Summerland. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Did you like it more than me? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.